You are now entering the co-design dimension of WeLand. In this dimension, we start to get more practical, building upon the inward and reflective nature of the previous dimensions. To design requires us to first sense and then express an image symbolically. This fundamentally means that we give structure to ideas, feelings, and aspirations in order to be able to express them in real life. We can all become designers, and we can be trained in design methodologies so that we can co-create with life. In our world, to innovate often means to copy-paste good practices from somewhere else and adapt it to our own reality. But is it possible to create something genuinely unique? Do we need to be brilliant to be able to do this? Up until now, we have explored the evolution of place and culture in the landscape dimension, followed by sensing who we are and how we relate to place in the co-sensing dimension, and then exploring our potential as a community in the identity naming dimension. In the co-design dimension, it's now time to harvest all these experiences by expressing them as processes and strategies. To co-design with your community means that all you have listened to and sensed in previous processes has changed you and your ideas, as well as all who have participated in these processes. Together, you become a diverse voice that brings value to the emerging community strategies. Does listening to all the voices and expressing our own mean that we need to reach a consensus in everything we do? Do we need to sit in never-ending meetings in order to be able to respect diversity? Probably not. Trust is the key word in this dimension. Through the co-designing activities, we will develop strategies that are inclusive and regenerative. But we don't need to agree in every point. In this dimension, it is important to trust that even if we don't fully understand or connect with someone else's idea, it can still become a value-adding process for our community. Humility and curiosity are forces of life, and uncertainty and change are their environment. As you have already noticed, the WeLand model promotes collective emancipation, but at the same time it promotes individual singularity. If we want to become our potential, then compromise and negotiation are not an option. Instead, a plural and diverse expression of our community, one that is based in co-creativity and trust, will take us much further. Co-designing in plurality and diversity pushes us to transcend the restrictions that we face and engages us in a journey of resilience and regeneration for our community and landscape. In this dimension, we will learn to lead and follow at the same time, balancing accountability and delegation by both taking responsibility and letting go of control. The co-design dimension guides us through several generative questions in order to map out the process of how do we become. We begin the co-designing of the regeneration of our community by first recalling that we are place. From this position of understanding, we then ask ourselves, what can be regenerated through the process in which we are embedded? During the co-designing process, we define how our culture becomes its own potential by designing systems created for the regeneration of our place, understood as both our community and our landscape. This process should have tangible outcomes expressed through a strategic plan that is broad enough to be inclusive to diversity and specific enough to structure and guide the different actions needed to practically and actively regenerate our place. These co-created and agreed strategies, designs, and plans help inspire our community to keep transcending the structural violence that we face every day, instilling in us the sense that we are at the service of something bigger, something that is emerging in every corner of our planet, something full of hope, courage, and creativity. This collective purpose gives us a reason to go further, take risks, surrender to change, and become our potential, which is precisely what our community needs from us. Knowing that we are not working for ourselves or our own prestige, but instead that we are working for our community and for our landscape, makes us part of a historic paradigm change. It is the gift of our times, the opportunity to dance with change and lead transformative and resilient processes of regeneration in our home communities, regions, and planet.